Oh, that's why they wouldn't let me out.
Yeah, I was coming back in. I think I should. There's a lot of gravel on these tyres, and I don't think that was quite what they were invented for. So, I'm just gonna. I treated that as a spotter lap.
Okay.
And I will go out again momentarily. I'm not following your lead on this because I know you've gone one up and you find yourself quite competitive. I have stolen a random setup from some geezer. You have to say geezer when you've nicked it, and he put it up on f1carsetup.co.uk.
Yes.
Wow, I've put 8% wear on my tyres, so yeah. There'll be pit stops aplenty, I think, this afternoon.
Yeah, well, it seems we're doing 50% races, obviously, for people that are watching. And when I was trying to do a quick pre-practice, because I'm so R-factor 2'd at the moment that I have to do a few laps before we do this, just to kind of remember how shit this McLaren drives. But also just like general game practices and not going off like I've just done there. Cue carnage. This is like, yeah, you've got to stop 3 times. You can stop twice if you want, but it's 10 seconds slower. I was like, must we? Must we really? But I think we will.
Well, it's 10 seconds slower if you're a... Wow, I just shifted my brake bias and it did me no favours at all.
Oh, okay.
The car doesn't seem to stop. Maybe I don't know, but the car just doesn't seem to want to stop.
Also, if you go onto f1carsetup.com, just remember that you're downloading a setup that is for race trim and not for hot lapping, because otherwise the tyre wear is even worse.
Oh god, yeah, I might have done that. I might have done that. I've never seen the point of doing that, actually.
What's that?
Sharing time trial setups, because the majority of players, I would venture to say, are not hot lappers. They're buying the game because they like F1 and they want to play through the season.
Yes.
Which means, you know, they want tyres that last the race distance.
This is true. Someone's got rid of the 100-metre board at turn 3 and I keep forgetting.
Was it you?
No,
because for once it wasn't me.
It wasn't me either. Wow. We were competent at a corner.
Are you having trouble with turn 2 at all?
On acceleration.
Yeah.
It's like the car wants to buck out.
It sure does. Anyway, since we're talking about how rubbish this McLaren is, and before we get into our 2016 predictions, which are always good value, I suppose we should have a 2016 us projection, because we need to have that discussion about if we're going to be the arseholes, or if we're going to be Tossa Rosso, or we've still never done Force India. And I realised though, for most of our virtual pretend career, we've been Renault powered, statistically speaking.
Oh, I did not know that.
Because, you know, we always go for the crap teams with the crap engine. I'm tucked in just behind you, and we are not competitive at all.
No, that's fine. I'm competitive on long distances, not on quali. There seems to be a real disparity between people's quali pace and race pace on this circuit with the AI. So don't panic.
Don't panic, Mr. Mannering.
And I'm sliding like a bitch everywhere.
Okay, so I guess before we do like a proper rundown of where we think people stand going into the season, is there any team or driver, actually we'll do both, team and driver, who has impressed you particularly over the testing sessions? Like coming into the season, is there something you've seen that you think, yeah, they've got the potential to deliver big here, bigger than perhaps people give them credit for?
Pascal Wehrlein in the manor. Oh, there's a front wing. And that's purely because that car is now within touching distance of everyone else. So I think if anyone's going to do it, it will be him. So that will be interesting as the story that plays out. Team-wise, I want to say Force India, I think, will punch above their weight and get them back to where we remember Jordan being in the late 90s. They have the potential for doing so. And I reckon they are my extreme outsiders for third in the Constructors.
Do you know, that should be a controversial opinion, but I could actually get behind that. I heard an interview with Pat Simmons the other day, and he's someone who traditionally never talks performance.
Yeah.
He's always plays his cards very close to his chest, but he was, I think it's fair to say, confident that Williams were coming into the season as a solid third-place team. I don't know if it's a bluff,
need to return to the pits within the next couple of laps,
or if he's genuinely that confident. But I could see them really being under threat this season, and if anyone's going to be delivering that threat, I think it would be Force India.
Yeah, especially because I find it really difficult to be able to place where. I don't know what. Okay, maybe it was Ricardo or Kvyat that fucked up the first lap, or Massa, because those are three behind Will Stevens at the moment.
Oh, there's front wing all over the track.
That might be me.
Is that number 3 now, Simon?
Number 2. Number 2. I can't place Red Bull, and I found it very difficult to place Williams because they've been really, really underplayed again so far in testing, and I don't know if they've done that on purpose or if they've are genuinely just keeping things close to their chest because they're working on stuff. But that's the beauty of testing, isn't it? How about yourself? 8th position on the grid.
Yeah, look at that, eh? That was a clean lap from me. We'll never see the likes of that again.
You.
Well, first of all, I kind of second you on Force India, but the team that actually has impressed me most has been Toro Rosso. They got the second most laps after Mercedes, with no reliability problems, given that they didn't know what engine they'd be using until a few weeks before the test.
Yeah.
They've built a brand new gearbox this season that Franz Tost has said is so tightly packaged you can't see the wiring and the connecting components coming in and out of it because the bodywork is so tight to it. And he was fearful that if there was an error, it'd be very, very difficult to visually diagnose it without dismantling the rear of the car. So good news that it's working flawlessly so far. I think the drivers are obviously the most promising young drivers F1 has seen for considerable time.
Yeah.
And I'm totally of the opinion that for the first maybe quarter of the season at least, they are going to be sticking it to the bigger teams, and they're probably going to be ahead of Red Bull initially.